Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about the moon. So, from the early civilization and the dawn of human history, man has always been gazing upon the moon and wondered what it was. But the knowledge has not been complete. Only when the telescope was invented, man got details about the moon. The moon's average distance from the Earth is around 3,82,200 kilometers. The diameter of the moon is 3,470 kilometers, and the weight is around 1/83rd of the Earth, so it is much lighter than the Earth. Its gravitational pull is also 1/6 of the Earth. That means it has got very less amount of gravitational pull as compared to the Earth. Only 59% of the moon is visible from the Earth. The moon also has got a very low albedo. Low albedo means that most of the sunlight that it receives, it basically absorbs it and does not reflect. Only 7% of the total sunlight is reflected by the moon, and the rest is absorbed. An ordinary or synodic month or the lunar month is the interval between one new moon and another new moon. So that is the duration when two new moons occur. New moon is the time when we cannot see the moon or it is not visible on the earth. This period is called as the lunar month, which is 29 and a half days duration. That is 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 11 seconds. The moon does not have its own luminosity. Luminosity means that it does not have its own light. It reflects the light of the sun or the sunlight that falls on the moon. Therefore, at one time, only one side of the moon can be lighted by the sun's rays. So, the side of the moon which is facing the sun is always lighted or luminous, and the other side is in darkness. The moon not only revolves around the earth on its orbit but also rotates around on its axis. Therefore, only one side of the moon is always facing the earth. The amount of moonlight that we see changes with over the month or the lunar month, which is around 29 and a half days. That is the duration between two new moons, as we have already spoken about. So, the lighted portion of the moon we see depends upon its position in the sky in relation to our Earth. First, we see a very thin crescent, then the first quarter, followed by gibbous, and finally the full moon. After the full moon occurs, the entire phase is repeated once again. So, the gibbous, then the last quarter, and then the new moon again. As the lighted part of the moon is growing from new to full moon, this phase is called as waxing. And when the size is decreasing from full to new moon, the phases is called as waning. Phases of moon also plays a very important role in the celebrations of various religions like Christianity, Jewish, Hindu as well as Muslim holidays. Now, the Christian festival of Easter always takes place on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox on the 23rd of March. The surface of the moon is scattered with lots of craters. There are huge mountains as well as there are huge depressions. The highest range is called as Lebanus, which is the mountain which is greater and higher than the Mount Everest on the surface of the earth, which is around 10,670 meters high. Erosion takes place at a very slow rate as there is no rainfall or wind. Therefore, the footprints which have been left by the astronauts several years back have still not disappeared. Around 195 countries have launched its satellites around the moon. Russia launched its Lunik 2 in 1959, which reached the moon only within 36 hours. Then in October 1959 there was Lunik 3, which photographed the other side of the moon, which was never seen before from the earth. These were the earlier attempts of sending satellites, and collecting information on the surface of the moon. In December 1968, the American spacecraft Apollo 8 with its 3 astronauts orbited around the moon. And on 21st of July 1969, an astronaut named Neil Armstrong became the first man to land on the moon. The NASA has got 3 robotic spacecrafts to the moon, that is Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and Twin Artemis. A new mission to the moon, Artemis 2, will be launched in the year 2024.